So there we go, I found my 10mm flexi head ratchet spanner. So that's going to go back on the van instead of this. Okay, that's just going to go, well that will go in the van, but it won't go in this tool roll. Okay, that's a spare now. So I do have Rothenberg tools. Do like them, did used to love them. These are the bigger ones that never failed. But if you look here, if I can get that to focus, at this point here, that where it goes from fat to thin there, I've broke 2 pairs of the smaller grips. Not these big ones, but these big ones, although they're quite mucky, they're very, very rarely used. Because if I have something that needs these big grips, like if I'm going to do a pump change, I get 2 things off the van. I get this, okay, which is a Rothenberg. It says here it's number 7, but it's basically 18-inch Stilsons, 450mm, and they are robust and tough, and they work. I bring them into any job where I've got to change a pump, where I'm trying to undo the nuts. Them and them. So I can't remember what people call these, but you know they've got this easy. I mean, look at the size of that. It's absolutely enormous. Let's a reference. Yeah, they are enormous. I could probably grab that whole full size. I won't show you the brand, but that full size beer can, I can grab that full size beer. That's the full size beer can. I can grab it between them grips and quite easily crush it. I don't want to do that. I want to drink it. These are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Just from the way the teeth are made, they grip fantastically well. They work really nicely. And these are mine, so they've got yellow on them. And there we go, another backhoe. And this one is rarely used. Very, very rarely used. Because the jaw only opens as wide, maybe not even as wide as the others, but look at that, look. Oh no, it is stuck, it sticks there. I was going to say this, you know, they just don't stick. But I'm proven wrong. I think. Well, maybe that's as wide as they open. No, it can't be. Can't be. But anyway, a bigger set of backhoes. These are only 12-inch, but so they don't come in. But I'm just showing you I've got them. So the pump changes every time. Don't go in without the big boys. And like this is just the most robust tool ever. You can literally be hammering on this. I mean, it's cast, so I'm sure it would shatter, but well, I think it's cast. I don't even know. Who knows? I don't know what this is made. It works. That's what I know. It works. I haven't broke it. And I have broke, I want to say 3 cheap ones from like the big, even longer than this. The blue ones that are a bit flatter in profile. I don't know who makes them, but the dark blue ones, I have broken a few of them, and I got this, and I must have had this 10 years now. It's just fantastic tool. So that's even if I was going on the scooter, I knew I was going to pump change. These would come with me. So I'm going to show you some other bits and bobs. Next, multimeters. We'll talk about this one first. This is as you can probably see, it's a Fluke 16. That's where are you there? Okay, this is the first multimeter I ever owned in my whole life. This is the first make and model. However, my very first one of these got stolen after a couple of years, and this one I replaced it with, and it still works today, just as it should. and this is what's made me keep buying Fluke. So you got to remember, I've been doing gas 19 years this year. Now I didn't buy this as an apprentice, so when I say I've been doing gas, I was an apprentice 19 years ago. I would say I must have been qualified 6 months or so when I first bought one of these, and so I would say it's got to be 17 years ago that I bought this. Not this particular one, this one's probably 15 years old, but it still works today, absolutely fine. This is my backup, or this stays with my installation tools, this multimeter, because when you're installing stuff you need to know, you know, it's got continuity or it hasn't, it's got voltage or it hasn't. You don't need to know much more than that. But I tell you what, again, if you're an apprentice or whatever, if you can afford to buy a Fluke, even a second-hand Fluke, get that as opposed to some cheap thing that's going to blow up the first time you put it on the wrong thing, or you have it plugged in on amps or whatever. It's going to blow up in your hand, and you're not going to have a fuse, because these have fuses in them. So now this is my everyday one. That people keep telling me I need to change the leads. I don't know why. I'm not sure why that is. So it's a Fluke 115. It's true RMS, whatever that means. Has a code on there that British Gas put on there when I subcontracted to them for a bit, and it's got a number on the back there when I worked for Valent for a bit, and it's got some calibration thing on the back here. Regardless of all of that, this is a phenomenal multimeter. What I would say is this one does temperature. You can have a plug-in NTC, and as you can see here it says temperature. You turn it to ohms and then press that, and you can do temperature. But obviously I haven't got the probes in there, so it's reading across the leads to try and work out temperature. Anyway, this is a better multimeter for a breakdown engineer. It's a phenomenal meter. The only thing I will say about this meter that is a bit problematic, the screen, hold on, let me turn it on and see if you can see. Okay, so the screen is not very viewable at different angles. I mean, it looks alright there actually, but so with the backlight on, it's got this. Do you know what? The camera picks it up better than your eye. It's very, very difficult to see this multimeter. Well, it's not very difficult. It's just, but this is easier to see. This old meter is much easier to see when it's at a slight angle, or it's, you know, the sun's directly on it. Other than that, this is a fantastic multimeter. Any of the 115, 116, 117, they're all fantastic multimeters. Just make sure you don't get things wrong with it. As a gas engineer, you very rarely use the amp section. So if you look at mine, you can see the red in there is almost brand new. The red on the volts one is almost black. Look, you can barely tell that that's red, because that's where my probes are plugged in. So for me, probes, the important thing about probes is that they are sharp. I don't like these big long things that people have that are all flexible. I like nice sharp points. These probes are fused, they come apart like that, and they're split. There you go. You can see the banana plug is a circle when it's split in 4. So whenever these leads go out and you're getting a high resistance on them, I simply get my probe. Let me try and get that in shot. Simply get my probe, put it in there, push it down slightly to spread them, put them all back together, and I'll get good resistance again. Fantastic multimeter. I wouldn't get anything else other than, I mean, there's a few brands I'd get, but when I was younger, I just knew Fluke as a good brand, so I stuck to them. There's now a few that I would buy. If ever these break, but they don't break, I've never broken one. I've seen one that's broken. A guy that I know called Jack showed me one that that when you put it on voltage, it would just suddenly start resistance. When you put it on resistance, it would just show the resistance going up and down like mad. It wasn't giving an accurate reading, but I've never broke one. I have two here. This one's got to be 15 years old, still works fine. This one is 5 years old, 6 years old this year. And this one's used every single day and nothing wrong with it, works perfectly. So that's my view on multimeters. This is what I use. Again, no affiliation to anything. I'm going to link all of this stuff in the description. It will be the only thing that will ever earn me money from YouTube other than ad revenue, which is quite laughable. Ad revenue wouldn't pay for my bus fare into London and back, and I only live in Hertfordshire. So, you know, if you buy any of this stuff, if you, for instance, want some Nipex grips, I mean, if you could click on the link below and buy it through that link, I'll try and make sure the links are the cheapest I can find. But if you could do that, that would really help me out. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It would just be great if I could earn some money from this. It'd be fantastic.